Welcome back to the We Bombastic Few podcast, season 4, episode 9, total episode something. Brent, what's the total episode?
50,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Accurate. That is accurate to my count as well.
He Fermi estimated it.
Yeah, I did a quick Fermi estimate.
Instant Fermi estimate.
Well, because I figured there's 10 to the 5 hosts of podcasts when considering. Yeah.
If you round it to the nearest 10,000, round up to the nearest 10,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
exactly. Checks out.
So you've heard
Brent, the math guy
from both hosts. Yeah. What? How can you call yourself a math guy? It's not like you have some kind of official qualification.
Hold on, this mathematics minor is getting in my way. I need to get it off my table. Sorry, what were you saying?
A mathematics minor.
Show of hands.
Yeah, just, I don't know why.
I need to see a show of hands. Who cares? Hold on. Anyone? I don't see any hands. So,
yeah.
Oh, what's this? My electrical engineering degree. Who put that on the desk too? Oh, and my in-progress master's in electrical engineering. Oh my goodness, my desk is so cluttered.
Do you just have it on your
you
desk
have it,
to like
you
boost your ego like every day?
You have an in-progress master's degree on your desk. What is it? Your transcript?
Yeah, it's a degree audit that says it's happening.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't actually give any specifics. It just says it's happening.
Sure. Close enough. So you've heard from Brent. You've also heard from Lindsay, but he hasn't identified himself. Lindsay, are you there?
I am here. I am Lindsay. And I am the math guy.
You're the math guy. What? Do you have some kind of official qualification?
Okay, Daniel, as
main host?
Okay, Daniel, as the third party here, who's more credible? Me being the math guy, or Brent saying that he's the math guy with nothing to back it?
Lindsay has more work experience. I trust him.
Thank you.
I don't know. I worked at Toys R Us many moons. How many?
I was working before you started that job.
It is true that Brent left Toys R Us and then they went under.
Can confirm.
Coincidence?
They also raised the amount they're paying their employees the second he left.
Classic.
Yeah, for real. That was dumb.
Dude, Brent, you have a streak of that, because when we were working at that restaurant together, we were making the same thing, and then you left, and then I got a raise.
Garbage. That's what it is.
Good times. Great minds think alike. Great math minds think alike.
Indeed.
I'm Daniel, of course, the introductory host for today, and I'm the math guy.
Can't
just wait until you guys get to my qualgorithm. You don't even know.
Oh, okay. Speaking of the qualgorithm, that's our first segment, followed up by hypothetical, because what's a podcast without a hypothetical? And, of course, following that will be segment C. And as we all know, C stands for Brent's Game segment. As it's named in our quick little scripty thing here, skeleton agenda. That's the word I was looking for. The bombastic word today: cacorhapthiophobia. This is the fear of failure, and I do have a worry with this one that I'm not going to be able to fit that into the script somewhere. It's really gonna set off my cacorhapthiophobia. That totally counts.
Not if you use it in the same sentence as you introducing it.
Oh, they were different sentences.
There was a very visual period there. It was a
semicolon.
It was a split of sentences.
It
was a semicolon.
Semicolons aren't real because I don't want them to be.
Hate to introduce you to program.
Me too. Me too. Speaking of things I don't want to exist, actually I don't know how I can tie that into my thing. Anyways, So I cook for myself a decent amount of the time, unless I get really lazy with grocery shopping, cooking, or doing the dishes, which, these are all things that it's pretty easy to get lazy with. But anyways, I was cooking for myself today, and I was making chili. And historically, it's like my mom's chili recipe. And historically, this is the recipe of hers that, like, I do best. And every time I've made it, it was for a long time. It was like, okay, yeah, this came out like really similar to how my mom would make it, but like I would change things, make it spicier and stuff, or I'll just mess with stuff. But the last few times I've made it, it's just come out like very lacking in flavor, and I don't like. I'm doing the same things I've been doing, so I'm following the recipe. Sometimes I'm adding, like, if anything, like, it should be a little like too much, because I'm adding more and more of like stuff.
What if you're reaching the point where you are just like doubling the recipe inadvertently because you've doubled everything?
Okay, well, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that, but it's like, well, I mean, today, for instance, like, I expected it to come out different, 'cause, like, I threw in some habaneros, and like, I didn't have enough chili powder, and so I had to make like a substitute chili powder using like a variety of different spices. And it came out like different in that way, but like, I don't know. It's like the flavor of, plain beef, because I put beef in my chili, was like stronger than like the spice flavors. And I just have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. Like, why is it when I do the same things over and over again, but like it's coming out different? Like, I'm doing something
I've got a
different.
hot take on chili, pun intended. I don't think chili ever tastes different. Like,
I don't think chili ever tastes great.
I mean, it's okay. Like, it definitely hits the spot sometimes, but I've had it from many different people, like many different varieties, and I think the only thing I ever notice is if like you exchange beef for chicken. But like, other than that, I think all chilies basically taste the same.
I think a lot of chilies taste similar, but I think you just need to have a good chili. It sounds to me like you've never had
the
good
same
chili.
dish. Like, it is the same dish, it's just variations of it. So like, that's not the wildest thing.
But
to
like,
say.
I don't notice anything different. Like, I went to it was like a year ago or so, and like I went to one before that too, like a chili cook-off, whatever. And like, I had like 5 different ones. I was like, these are all the exact same chili. Like, they taste exactly the same.
Yeah.
Too bad you don't have a minor in food appreciation, where you can like learn to
Daniel
appreciate
and I do.
the differences. Yes, like, because Lindsay and I are very cultured people. We dabble.
So Daniel, you said your mother's recipe, and this brings up, like, I have this thought. I always hear people say, okay, their recipe or this other person's recipe that they're using, but I've never heard of someone working on a recipe. So is it actually their recipe that when they say that, or is it like just the one that they use?
Well,
I don't know where my mom got the recipe or if she came up with it herself, but no one else makes chili the same way.
Intriguing.
my mom loves to throw around the
encountered.
statistic she read in a book that like you only need to change a recipe 10% to make it your own. And so I think it's just like you change one thing in a recipe with 10 or more ingredients and suddenly you've got your own, like, quote unquote recipe. So
Oh yeah, like a little ingredient change can like drastically change a dish.
Okay.
One example
Yeah,
of
that's
this is like, growing up, I always felt like most lasagnas kind of tasted the same, but my mom's lasagna like tasted different, and I always thought it was like, this is way better. Like a few years ago, I found out the difference between most lasagnas and my mom's, and then like one other lasagna that was slightly better than my mom's, but like mostly tasted the same. Was that most lasagnas used ricotta cheese, and my mom used cottage cheese instead.
Ooh, I do not like the ricotta, so I have to try that.
Yeah, I highly recommend. It makes for a good lasagna.
I really want lasagna now.
It's one of my favorite
Also,
dishes.
shout out to moms, mine and Daniel's and Lindsay's.
Yes, all moms.
Speaking
Happy
of which,
early Mother's Day.
My mother just started listening to the podcast. So,
Whoa, that's big time.
Yep.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm sure you'll love it.
Maybe.
So, I mentioned a few episodes ago that I recently got a dog. So the topic has come up a lot of people wanting to convert like the human years to dog years or whatever, and I genuinely think that is the dumbest, like, that is the most unnecessary conversion ever. Because
So
I agree.
I'm very unfamiliar with it. Like I know there's like 1 to 7 or something. Explain it to someone who doesn't know what you're talking about.
For the stereotypical the accepted generalization of it is 1 to 7 for the average dog. But however, like I forget where it was, but like one of my classes that I took a few semesters ago was like, okay, that's been updated. Actually, more accurately is this different rate at first, which is I think it was a little more rapid, and then it changes to 1 to 7 ratio. So in the general sense, yes, 1 human year is supposed to equate to 1 dog year, or 7 dog years. Sorry.
So, go ahead.
But I'll just like finish like my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I think it's the dumbest thing ever, and I've got multiple reasons for that. Because a year is a year. Humans do not we do not have any ownership over the year. Time affects everyone at the same time. Like it's not human years does not matter. But like but then like that. Yes, that's just talking about the year part of it. But like the conversion. Different animals are allowed to have different life expectancies. Why do we need to put it into human perspective? I compare it to the human life expectancy when you can just say, okay, the standard dog will live at most around 15 years. Like, why can't you just say that and accept that?
So
I was just gonna say, so is the incentive to give you an idea of how long it's gonna live, or like how
I guess
quote, unquote,
so
mature it is?
But like,
or...
why can't you just say, okay, it's an adult at this many years, and it like they don't live life expectancies at most around 15 years.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, to me,
it just seems very unnecessary. Yes, it helps give you the picture, but like in the like after your childhood time of talking about that as an adult, why can't you just accept it's like they're not gonna like I don't know.
Wake up, sheeple.
It just seems so like dumb.
I can see how it makes sense to like conceptualize like
Yes.
where your dog is at in the aging process, but I
is
don't
that necessary,
understand why
though?
that's important. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree with you, but I think the biggest thing is like dogs are basically for children. Like if you're a child, you want a dog. And
I don't think that is a good take at all.
But like children are a big thing for dogs, right? Or dogs are a big thing for children, one or the other. I don't know.
Kids like dogs
but like
too.
it's a lot easier for a child to imagine, or I would imagine that it's easier for a child to imagine is like, oh, this dog, like, is actually as old as like your grandfather, basically. So it's on its last leg and it's going to die soon. You know how you talk to children.
I would disagree with their like the more generalization that of the association with children. I know many adults that want a dog, and obviously,
but I'm saying, I bet dog years originated to explain it to children.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my theory.
But I guess that's fair.
It's a theory. I don't know.
But like, I feel like it's still simple to be like, oh, it's 10 years old. Like, that's like reaching the like older end of the spectrum for, or the life range for dogs. Like, can you not just accept that it's getting old?
I don't know. I'm not a child.
No, I'm talking about like, yeah. Like, if you attach it directly to your comparison to dogs or to
That's
kids,
my only
dogs,
defense.
like, yeah, that is my thoughts on dog year to human year conversion. Whatever, dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean,
It's.
I feel like, because when I talk to like dog owners, and you know they're talking about dogs, and you know their heart melts when they see a dog. I feel like people who like dogs are like really attached to dogs, and to me, like, it definitely could have come from trying to, like, contextualize the age of a dog to a child, but it also potentially could have come from people wanted, like, a more human-like connection with their dog.
Yeah,
And
because
so they
most
tried
people
to
want the
contextualize the age
companionship
like that.
out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that definitely makes sense. And, like, it's hard for me because it's hard for me to get excited or, like, really obsessive about anything. So, like, I can definitely understand that some people will get obsessive about that, but it's just hard for me to understand, like, why the extreme amount of interest in something goes down the path of, like what you just said, like, making these small, little, unnecessary, like, not even facts, but attempt at facts.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, a year's a year. Like, the dog has lived 3 years, Earth years. It's not.
What if we find out that dogs experience time 7 times as fast
If, like,
as a normal person?
if that was the case, then this is the most genius thing ever, and we should be like, this should be.
How did we discover this? Can we
Yeah, exactly.
put all our computing power to dogs instead of computers?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, I think this totally recontextualizes the turkey hypothetical. If they're experiencing time differently than us, if they then became intelligent, like, holy cow.
Think of that. Yeah, that'd be dangerous. Speaking of 7 being a prime number, this is a quiz for Daniel. Well, 1-question quiz, and then you both get a quiz. How many? Because Lindsay already knows the answer because he was here when I was talking about. How many prime numbers are there below, like, under 100?
I think I was here for this conversation, but I forgot. It's
No, this was talking
You could not have been.
inside of Brent's apartment.
okay. Then I had this conversation
we
with
had a
someone
similar
else, like, in the
conversation,
last
but-
month or two.
But do you know the answer?
Um,
I guess.
off the top, I think it's something like, I don't know, 17.
See, that's what, like, everyone there, we took a poll. That's what everyone basically assumed. It's 25, which is interesting.
I knew it was, like, higher than I expected, and then my mind went to 18. I was like, I'm gonna undershoot that. I said 17.
And so, because this is a math podcast now, I'm now going to quiz you on the rules for divisibility really quick. And so you get to work together. Your goal is to get 100%. And if you get above an 80%, you guys can be the math people on the podcast.
Seems rigged, statistically
Okay.
speaking. And I know statistics, given I'm the math guy.
Yeah. Exactly. Honestly, I have faith in you guys. You guys can be the math people. How do you tell if a number is divisible by 1?
It exists.
All right. Correct. Divisible by 2.
Even.
Correct. Divisible by 3.
Yeah, this is where, like, I didn't even know there were rules for this until I was, like, 19, and I was like, I don't need to know that.
This is untrue. It is a very useful skill.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
We're still
know
in the easy ones.
I don't know any of the divisibility rules beyond 1 and 2. Why would I need to know those? I know the divisibility rule for 10.
We'll jump around
move
very
Move
temporarily.
the decimal. Bam.
Move that.
Easy.
I mean, that's not true because yes, any number is divisible by 2. It's just the point is it divisible with no remainder?
If it ends in a 0, it's divisible by 10. If it ends in 5 or 0, it's divisible by 5.
Correct.
We're back at 3. Okay, if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3, then it's divisible by 3. So, for example,
that's right.
381, you sum 3 plus 8 plus 1, that's 12. 12 is divisible by 3, so the entire number is divisible
I don't
by
know.
3.
Like, I get that that's a rule and there's logic behind that, but that very much seems like it's divisible by 3 if it's divisible by 3. Like, you have to use the division of 3 in your reasoning to prove if it's divisible by 3.
So, like, I said 12 is divisible by 3. You can repeat the rule.
Yeah.
1 plus 2 is 3, which is divisible by 3.
Well, yes. I'm
because
just saying,
every number
like,
is divisible by itself. So there you have it.
but like what I'm saying is like it seems.
Well, so if I told you, hey, Lindsay, I've got 3 people here and 381 slices of cake.
No.
Here,
Here,
everyone doesn't get a exact. Don't ask where I got this cake.
No,
Who
I'm
the
going
heck
to
sliced
give you
it.
a really good example. Like, I get that that's a rule. I get that it works. But, like, I'm telling you, it feels like when you get a new pair of scissors and you need a pair of scissors to open the package to use the pair of scissors that you just bought. That's what that feels like. Have you ever been in that situation? That's what it's
I
like.
know, but well, no, because it's so like it's that situation,
Spoken like
but
a true
in
math
the
person, Lindsay.
in the case of like the second pair of scissors, it's like they only wrapped it in like toilet paper. Like it's a lot easier to get to that second pair of scissors versus the one they put in a steel vault and like wrapped in like that evil plastic wrap. And yeah,
Sure.
Like,
Yes.
the idea is it's a lot easier to get to that.
But the idea is like you have
second
to
pair.
you have to use what the scissors were made for, cutting, to get to the scissors that you need. Like
It's a useful skill. You will not convince me otherwise. Moving on.
And scissors are
'cause
useful
this is
too.
Taking too long. Divisible by 4.
If
This one you could probably logic out pretty easily.
if it's divisible by 2 and becomes an even number,
I don't know if that's true.
That
it
has
is
to be true.
Because
Yeah,
if you divide by 2 and it's still divisible by 2, then that means
Well,
it's divisible
so
by
like
4.
12 is divisible by 2, it becomes 6.
Which is
it's
divisible
still
by
an even
2.
number, but it is not divisible by 4.
Right.
So you're saying
12
divisible by 2 twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yes, but there's an easier rule.
If you add up the numbers
okay.
and they add up to 3,
If the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, the number is divisible by 4 because 100 is a factor of 4. So like anything above 100 can be down to like the last 2 digits. You already got 5, 6.
if it's an even number and follows the rule of threes.
Boom. All right, Daniel gets a gold star too. Because like those, I already knew like all those. The one that I got tripped up on that I looked up the other day was divisible by 7 because I knew there was a rule. It's just everyone like I remember when learning like these rules, they said like don't bother learning the rule for 7, just figure it out because it's a complicated rule. Which in hindsight, I can't believe I accepted that. That's a really stupid thing to say, but yeah. So I looked it up.
Most of my learning in math came from I accept that this works, and then I figured out how it works later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in general I definitely do that. But like I just can't believe that I accepted like it's hard to do this, so don't bother. Like that doesn't seem like something I would accept, but I totally remember just being like, all right, you got it.
What's the rule for 7? I'm not going to guess.
Yeah, I was kidding. So you double the last digit and subtract it from the other digits, and if that is divisible by 7 or 0, it's divisible. So, for example, 105. You double the last digit, 5, 10, and so 105, get rid of the 5, you had 10 minus the doubled, which is 10, which is 0. So 105 is divisible by 7. And then, so divisible by 8.
Wait, what was the rule for 4?
It was like if you
the last 4 digits divisible, or I'm sorry, the last 2 digits divisible by 4. You can use similar logic for 8.
Well, yeah, you can like it's just like 2 cubed. So you, like if you I mean if you're
Well, I'm saying not using Daniel's that is a way you can do it, but like that is not the quote unquote rule. Like it is valid, but it's just you're like the goal is to avoid doing division 3 times.
Well, what's the rule?
if the last 3 digits are divisible by 8, because 1,000 is divisible by 8. So like anything above 1,000
Gotcha.
is definitely divisible by 8. Anyway, and then divisible by 9.
I don't remember what divisible by 3 was.
I think below 100, it's if the digits add up to 9. But
Correct.
past 100, I don't know.
That's the entire rule.
Okay.
The sum of the digits divisible by 9. And then the last 2 we'll do, so 11 and 12. Also, like, you're not going to get these. You could get 12. I'll let you try and get 12, but I'll tell you 11 really quick.
11 usually palindromes itself, right?
Yeah. So you take sort of. I don't know exactly what you mean by that, but so you take the positive of like the first digit, subtract it from the second digit, add it to the next digit, subtract. So if for example, your number is like 1364, positive 1 minus 3 plus 6 minus 4, and if that is divisible by 11, or if it's 0, then it's divisible by 11.
Okay.
And then finally 12. Think about
if it yeah, I'm thinking about 6. If it follows the rules of 3 and 4.
Correct. Boom. All right. I really expected you. I didn't expect it to take this long because I expected you to know everything up until 7, at least.
No,
but
I was never
Good
taught
job.
that. I don't even remember like where I heard those rules. I think there was like
I don't buy that you were never taught it. I believe you never paid attention when it was taught to you.
no. It's because I was gone for whenever they taught like. If they taught it, it was a day I was gone because I was there for like the day we learned long division, and I wasn't there for like any other like day they talked about other division methods.
I generally cannot recall anything like this being brought up in school.
Yeah,
It seems so, it seems so fundamental that
like I don't know. You know your multiplication table, then you can like reverse engineer the division way of it, and then you just kind of know how to divide stuff.
Mm-hmm.
just kind of know how to divide stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway,
Turn everything into a fraction. Fractions are way easier to deal with. That's my take.
How many did you guys miss?
I mean, I didn't. I didn't contribute to this at all.
You were there.
Mm.
You helped. Whatever. We'll say we're all math people, even though apparently you guys skipped math class because you're a bunch of delinquents. Anyway,
Hey,
bombastic quote.
I got through engineering school without knowing the multiplication rules, or division rules.
Man, that's really impressive.
So I guess I'm a math person.
Didn't know times tables. Got through. I wasn't. Were you allowed to use a calculator in your classes? Like specifically math classes?
I mean, most upper level math classes, it didn't really matter because they were like indefinite integrals.
Yeah. Well, so like I totally know some people whose calculators could do indefinite integrals, and that's something I'm not going to touch. But I mean, it's still like there were enough times that like you had to divide or multiply like 3-digit numbers, which is like inconvenient. You can definitely do it by hand, but anyway, bombastic quote. Some people think a circle has no sides. Some think it is infinite in number of sides. In reality, a circle has 2 sides, the inside and the outside. And with that, we got the hypothetical, because what's a podcast without a hypothetical? So, Daredevil. It's on Disney Plus now. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore. But to celebrate this, Disney Plus was like, hey, you know what'd be really cool if we helped people out and gave people Daredevil powers. But vision's kind of useful, so let's give them better vision too. And so they went to Daredevil and was like, hey, can we harvest your blood to come up with a serum to give everyone your powers? And he was like, that's kind of my whole shtick. And but anyway, they paid him enough money because Disney can. And now they distributed the serum in order to promote the Daredevil series, and so now everyone has super senses. So you can hear things miles and miles and miles away. You have super hearing, or that's the same thing as hearing. You have supervision. You can see things you have telescopic vision. You can smell things super far away. Basically, everyone's got crazy super senses. So how is this going to change the world? First things first, vision is like vision care is like no longer a perk companies can offer because everyone's got perfect vision.
Side note, I remembered while you were talking about the hypothetical, I was allowed to use a calculator in my math classes because my calculator could not do indefinite integrals. But yeah, like everyone can hear, smell, see, other senses better.
Yep. And yeah. But
I think a big change would be the change in the sewage system, because now that we can smell stronger, like we're gonna be much more aware of like the presence of sewage.
Just waste in general. Like
yeah.
I think you have to combat it a whole different way.
And like cow pastures and whatnot, like we need to move those very far from civilization.
So skunks are a lot more dangerous because like that strong of a sensation might actually do things to you.
Incapacitating.
Might actually do things to you.
Yeah, like you might like pass out or like have a real brain fart, whatever that looks like.
Or smells like.
You can't whisper in like class anymore. Like the basically, so in almost a building side, just like if you're within the same building as someone, if you say something, it can be heard.
Well,
So
our
soundproofing
would improve, so that rooms would at least mostly be insulated.
Yeah. They'd probably do that. Can't hide a fart.
Yeah, so and also
can't sneak out of the house.
Yeah.
Do you think you will be like more affected by like temperature changes if you can feel like if your like ability to like your sense of feeling and touch is escalated, then you're going to be like uncomfortable quicker?
Yeah. I feel like everyone would get much worse sleep.
Yeah. Because suddenly, 2 nights ago, or a week ago, I don't know, some amount of time within the decent past, my upstairs neighbors were playing music till 4 a.m., and now that would it was already really bad because it was really loud, but can you imagine if like you heard it perfectly? That would be terrible. I feel like apartments in general just can't exist very well anymore.
I feel like noise complaints now like it's much faster, like evictable offense.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, even because we're going with it is super hearing, so even if they're just speaking, you can just hear your neighbors at all times. They're just having a conversation. You can hear them.
Yeah.
I think texting and all written communication would become a lot bigger.
Right.
Just because you don't necessarily want people listening in.
Brent, I'm imagining a situation. Slight variant, then we can come back to hypothetical. But you go up to your upstairs neighbor when they're playing that music. Imagine you knock on their door and tell them, hey, can you keep it down? We're trying to sleep below you. And then you look, and on their wall, just nailed in, is your license plate.
Oh my goodness. I would be arrested that night because of the series of high felonies I would commit.
Take notes, Brent's upstairs neighbors. If you're listening, you're gonna want to hide your contraband.
But
Exactly.
also, if you weren't the one stealing his license plate, you might want to find who did just to mess with them and take them.
I mean, if they want to die, I want that license plate cover back.
Okay. Let's reshape the hypothetical situation here. You do that, but then they say, no, we confiscated these from someone who was stealing them or did steal them. They thought it was funny, but we weren't sure who lost it. So we were waiting.
Turn it into the police. You freaks. That's not the hypothetical. Sports. The
crowd noise.
Crowd. Oh man, I don't think you could have a crowd, because even just like shifting around in your seat, if there are thousands of people, it would be deafening.
Well, that's like the curse. Like everyone has super hearing. Like everyone would have their eardrums shattered. Like at least a large margin of people would like shatter their eardrums really fast.
What if?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would it be easier if you gave everyone like noise canceling headphones, or gave them some kind of like something that like it's not silencer, but something that quiets your voice that you can go back to? It's harder to pick up. It's like from other people. You can be in a louder space. You can still talk and still hear what's going on.
There needs to be some kind of place where you can buy little gadgets like this to cancel out the noise for your ears. And there's only one-stop shop for all your electronic accessory needs, and that's Radio Shack. Thank you. Radio Shack's coming back.
Yep. So I don't like the I noticed like I'm speaking very loud as we're talking about this. On my audio spikes. Anyway, I don't like the fact that you can like dampen your voice, because that almost feels like we're taking away from the hypothetical. I like the idea that your way around it is to cut off your hearing. And so like you went from having like okay hearing to having super hearing to having no hearing in order to just be able to function.
Okay.
And then I think like almost this is getting to be extreme, but almost in the same way, like your vision's a lot better. Maybe your like light receptors are incredible now, and so if you go out in the sun, it's blinding, and so you need very strong sunglasses in order to be able to see outside.
Mm-hmm. Like screens might even be too much for us. Like if so like whether it be just screens or like going back to sports and stuff, like just seeing the scoreboard, those are really bright lights, so you can see them from far away. So like just looking at them could be damaging.
I think we're neglecting probably the most shocking effect of this serum, and that is Brent being able to distinguish chilies.
Oh my god, chilies suddenly are now different. That's crazy.
Okay, actually though, when it comes to chilies, so like in general sense, like I typically like more simple food. Like the more complex it gets, the higher chance I just won't enjoy it as much. So when it comes to that, do you think being more sensitive to taste, do you think we would be able to handle these complex dishes like chili that has a little bit of everything, a lot of spices, a lot of different flavors going on at the same time, versus like would you think we'd be doing that and being able to enjoy it more, or do we think that would be too much for us and we have to go to simpler foods just to be able to stomach it or like mentally process it?
See, information overload.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. I think you might like learn to enjoy it, but you did really quick. I do want to. You brought up an interesting point. If you take like a judge for like a food tasting contest, like are they out of jobs now? Like, because the working assumption is that they have just a more refined palate and can taste differences better. Like, and now everyone can do that, and so.
So I don't know if you said it, but
food
is everyone kind of at the same level with everything?
Yeah. Everyone
it'd still be like a training kind of deal, because it's the same thing with how like in ancient times, or like even in like certain cultures, like there wasn't a word for green. Like green was just a shade of blue. And so like things like that, like it can like affect how you can like perceive it. So like if you showed someone like shades of green and blue, if someone wasn't raised to distinguish between green and blue, it's harder for them to like see the differences in those than someone who was raised to distinguish those. So like if you have trained and like in the culinary arts and you understand flavors like of every kind, how they mix, how they interact, like how the preparation methods affect the way the final flavor comes out, I think that's still how you can distinguish between like professional tasters.
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Like, okay, but like I want to go back to the colors thing. Like I think everyone becomes a lot more familiar with like yes, we have names for all these like sub colors, so like all these different shades of red. So I think we've become more familiar with all those names, because like right now, like if I ask either of you, you guys probably couldn't name all of the colors. So like I think you just like you can distinguish them so like it's so much clear what colors what, and even the slight differences that for us now would be completely different. It would be the opposite. It would be like, okay, now it's like pretty much, okay, that kind of looks like this color, very close to this color, but with better sight, you're going to be able to be like, okay, that's 100% red number 127.
Right.
We would start using hexadecimal code for colors. Like RGB codes.
I was gonna say there'd be a cultural split. Some people would be using the hexadecimal. Some people would be calling out the RGB values.
I feel like I'm a hex guy.
I think that makes sense. But is it? How does I don't know if either of you know this, but how does like the hex system like work? Is there like a linear value and it changes like as you change position on the palette?
So the thing is like it's a hex is like a single thing can be 16 digits, right? Mm-hmm. And like two sets of 16 is like 256. So like I'm nearly certain in saying this, and I'm gonna make a bold claim even though I'm not positive. Like an RGB value is the same as hex. It's just written in hex.
Right.
So,
but like
they're the same thing. It's just how you represent it.
If I, let's say I'm on Microsoft Paint and I have my selector on one color and it's showing the hex for it, and then I make it like a little darker, like just one pixel darker, like is the hex gonna change systematically? Like if I change it by 1 pixel down darker and it changes, will it change in the same way if I move it 1 more pixel darker?
So it theoretically only has a resolution up to like 256 times 256 times 256.
Sure, but like
maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like I move it like as small a value as I can. Is it it's a systematic change though.
So it's just like I think it just comes down to like, is that system high enough resolution to like determine a change that small, and I don't know if it is.
Gotcha. See, in that way, I think RGB might be a little more precise.
Just because you can use decimal.
Yeah, you can. I mean, yeah, you could literally be as precise as you want with RGB.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
Hexadecimal is simpler.
RGB elitist.
I am an RGB elitist. That's why I'm the math guy. You're an engineer, so you can approximate to your hex, decimal, whatever. Me and Lindsay, we'll stick to our RGB values as the math people.
I don't know. I don't think we should give Brent the credit of being the engineering guy.
Oh, true. How can you prove that you're the engineer?
How the heck do I not get the title of engineering guy? I've got a real quarrel with that one.
I think Lindsay is more of an engineering guy than either of us.
Thank you.
He works at an engineering firm.
I've worked at 2 engineering firms.
Okay. You have interned at 2 engineering firms.
That's true.
Big difference.
I was just joking, but Daniel brings fire reasoning here.
Lindsay's the engineer of all of us. That's all I'm saying. He's got that real world stuff going for him.
I just don't have the title of engineer like you guys do.
I have engineer in my title, but I do data entry.
You and me both, bud.
Engineer is a fluid word. It means a lot of things. All right. Anyone have any more ideas for the hypothetical before we wrap it up?
We touched taste, we touched sound, we touched sight.
Radio Shack came back.
Yeah. And then, of course, screens. You can't go to the theater because the screen's too bright, so Blockbuster's coming back.
Easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's obvious this time.
But how are we going to use the VHS tapes? Are they just going to be upscaled to a digital TV? Because the CRT televisions will make that, like, high-pitched noise.
Or like the flash on and like flash off.
Oh, yeah.
We fixed those.
Oh, dang. So Blockbuster has some, like,
you don't have
innovative
to attach a VCR to a CRT, though.
You know what?
Either way, Blockbuster has some, like, innovative things going for it, and it's going to be skyrocketing in success.
Mm-hmm. Although a lot of CRT, or like, I've seen plenty of CRTs with like VCRs built in.
Yep.
Fair.
Anyway, who's sponsoring us today, Lindsay?
Our sponsor today is Bottomless Containers. Have you ever wanted the ability to carry more, but always ended up with too much weight and cumbersomeness for you to handle? Well, with Bottomless Containers, you're able to put as many things through it as you want without them ever getting full. Bottomless containers come in many shapes and sizes, all of which never get full. Check out using code WeCarryFew for unlimited discounts. I believe both of you guys received, I think Daniel, you received a star-shaped bottomless container, and Brent, you received what shape again?
It was a rhombus.
A rhombus.
It was really useful for yard work because I was like trying to transport some rocks, right? And so I would load it up with rocks, and then as soon as I pick it up, we're back at square one. We could fill it right up again, no problem. It's super easy to carry. Just really great for yard work. Highly recommend.
Yeah, and my star-shaped container has been great for storing my star-shaped cookies, of which I have many. And so, you know, typical containers, you know, they don't fit my shape right. They don't have enough storage space. But my bottomless container star shape has changed my life.
Thank you, Bottomless Containers, for sponsoring this episode.
And
Indeed.
Specifically, they really wanted to sponsor our last segment, segment C, because, and you know, we perhaps embellished a little bit with this, and we told them segment C was for cookie. And as you know, like I relayed my story about the cookie container with them, and so they really like that. But as we know, C is actually for Brent's game. And what is Brent's game? We've played it on the podcast before. Giraffe, plane, candle. So the way this works is we each have an object in mind. So, like, one person will be giving their object at a time, and the other two will be guessing. So you have an object in your mind. You say, okay, is this most like a giraffe, a plane, or a candle? And you can use any logic you choose to decide which you want to make your descriptor word. You'll say, okay, well, I'm talking about a animal cracker. So I'm going to say crunchy giraffe. And we'll each take a guess, and if we're wrong, then the clue giver will give another hint. So it'd be like
Crunchy
tasty giraffe, and so on. And you can get up to 5 adjectives. And
yeah, and they have to be adjectives.
They have to be adjectives. Adjectives must be adjectives.
And the quicker you do it, ideally, the better like you did at the game.
Right.
Yeah. So like you theoretically get more score if you can get it in 1 adjective versus 5.
Correct.
So,
okay.
Brent, it's your game. Would you like to start?
I will start us. And
Sorry, Lindsay.
you will
It sounded
start
like you were
with...
about to go. But go ahead.
Too
Go
bad.
ahead.
I already started. I shall give you guys... can you tell me... I've misplaced my stringy candle. What is my stringy candle?
Noodles.
Yo-yo.
Final answers?
Yep.
Noodles.
Yo-yo.
Incorrect. Okay. So I suppose I'll give you more details about my stringy candle.
That you
It is yeah, that I misplaced. A stringy camouflaged candle.
Stringy camouflaged candle. Is it a dragon? No.
You have to lock in answers. by the
A
way.
stick
So
bug
you can,
locked
guess
in.
things.
Wait, stringy. What was the new word?
A stringy camouflaged candle.
I'll go chameleon.
Bold choice considering I didn't use giraffe. Both of you are incorrect.
I mean,
Okay.
we've had this discussion before. Candle could be
It's like
shown
Yeah,
size.
yeah.
Candle,
Yeah,
fire,
sure. But
dragon,
still.
Komodo dragon, lizard, chameleons have camouflage.
I don't know if Daniel elaborate on this, but the idea is to use giraffe, plane, or candle. You pick one depending on what's closest to, or what you think relates closest to the item you have in mind.
Right.
Okay. So it's still lost. I need you guys to help me find it.
Yep.
It's a stringy, camouflaged, strong candle.
Stringy, camouflaged, strong candle.
Okay.
Um.
I'm picturing Brent's room. Because I know he was looking around to figure this out.
I'll give you a hint. It was an item. It is not a part of my room. It is an item like I have placed inside my room.
I don't think that narrowed it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanted to throw a guess?
I'm gonna say it's the thing you pull on the ceiling fan to turn on the light.
But he said he placed it in his room, though.
Well, that's my guess.
Which I was...
Honestly, I love the idea. It's a good figure.
I honestly thought about that earlier in the thing. It's like something you pull. I was like thinking like string in his room. Okay, I was thinking blinds, and I was thinking also the ceiling fan.
I like where you guys are headed. You're like, think about camouflage though.
Yeah, that's where you're losing me.
Okay.
I haven't guessed anything. Good lord. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, whatever. I'll do a blind string.
Correct. I have camouflaged blind.
Camouflage
in my room.
blind.
Well, it's just hard to see. Honestly, that would have been top tier. Anyway, stringy. I still need you to help me find it. So I'm gonna switch up one of these. So stringy, camouflaged, strong, long, candle.
Oh, I forgot about strong. Okay,
realizing
strong and
this
long,
is-
long and strong.
What
It's
rhymes
Long
with
and
long
strong
and
was my
strong?
nickname in middle school.
all right. I feel like candle's probably just going for object.
Yeah, or even like I think it's the long is probably just like slightly bigger in one dimension than the candle. So
Right.
I'm gonna guess candle. Lock it in. No.
Camouflage. So it's like something that blends in or something you lose.
Oh, I'm thinking his apartment room. I gotta think about his other place outside of college.
His room back at his parents' house.
Yes.
I'm more familiar with that.
That's
room.
not gonna help you. Think of just so it's something I got from like the discount store, like just a random thing. But like you definitely know what it is.
Slackline.
But like I. Okay. Lindsay.
Oh, gosh. I'm gonna say it's gotta be something glass, I feel like. For the transparency camouflage thing. Let's go with screen protector.
No.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Guys, I really need you to help me find this, but this is the last. Like we're coming up on a timeline here. This is the last hint I can give you. It is a stringy, camouflaged, strong, long emergency candle.
Emergency.
Stringy.
Long.
Strong?
Camouflaged.
Dad?
I totally like. I didn't bother that hard with the last two because I was like, they'll get it by 3.
Brent, I feel like you're gonna tell us what it is, and I'm gonna hate every one of your hints.
I know, me too.
Oh, wait. Long, strong,
No, that was it.
stringy camouflage.
Say what you were gonna say.
Hold on. What was the last word? Emergency. Oh, well. I was gonna say headphones. Those aren't emergency.
I'm
But
picturing
I'll stick with it.
those like bracelets
You're
or
thinking of my
necklaces
emergency head-
that like are just a rope like woven in a certain way that like you can undo if you absolutely need a strong rope. So whatever that's called is what I'm locking in.
Genius.
Like
Boom. Paracord was what we were looking for, but you absolutely nailed it. It like the item I looked at was an emergent. It's one of those like it has a compass on it. It's a bracelet, but it's made of paracord that you unravel if you're in an emergency. Boom. Ding, ding, ding. Lindsay gets 1 point.
Dang.
Okay.
Bravo.
Daniel, do you want to go next or you want me to go next?
Go ahead.
Okay. I've got entertaining candle.
So
Xbox.
go like a DVD player or a VCR. I feel like he wouldn't be too. He is probably looking around his room though. Maybe like TV. I'm gonna go television.
Xbox.
Entertaining recorded candle.
So a DVD. Or yeah, I'm going with DVD.
A DVD of Sharknado 3. Oh hell no.
Don't waste.
He's quoting.
Something else.
Recorded.
You guys are
Is
right.
it the
there.
podcast?
You guys are right there. Entertaining, recorded, watchable candle. Brent, you're right there. You're right there. You just gotta say it. You just have to say the
Is
word.
it a VHS?
No. That's your Daniel. You gotta-
No, I didn't lock it
Is
in.
it-
You
This is
asked
garbage.
me if it wasn't. That was locking it in.
It was a rhetorical question,
Is
but
it
whatever.
YouTube?
You're right there. Entertaining, recorded, watchable, and scripted candle.
Scripted.
it's
Is
just
is it a
that-
movie?
Yes, it is. It was movie. You guys are like, I didn't know which one. It's not really an
What was,
physical
what was
item.
your third one? Like watching?
Watchable. Watchable.
Watchable.
It was.
Okay.
I mean, it was hard. I was thinking
Yeah,
about doing
yeah.
Brent favored or something like that. But I was like, whatever. All right, Daniel, give us your
All right, I have
speed
a
around.
point.
All right, so I have to get this one.
Yeah, or you'll
Else I look
lose.
bad.
I mean, this will
the math
determine,
guy
like, who-
concept or title.
Either we tie and none of us are the math person, or Lindsay wins and he's the math person. All right. So we've got, you guessed it, a candle, and it's electric.
Oh, it's your water flosser.
It is your mouse.
Nope. All right. It's an old electric candle.
GameCube controller.
That's what I was gonna go with.
Let's speed around. It does not matter what you were going to say. I said it first.
I know. Old electric. I don't know what systems he has.
It's electric.
there. I'm gonna go with a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Nope. All right. Boxy old electric candle.
GameCube itself, not the controller.
Xbox. Daniel guessed Xbox earlier.
Nope. All right.
Gosh darn it.
Heavy boxy old electric candle.
CRT. Television. I hate that. I'm racing, so I'm not giving thought. I'm just answering.
Well, okay, we switched. Last round, I didn't think, and this round you did. And now, I'm going to say a lava lamp.
It is a cathode ray tube television. CRT.
We're all the math people.
No, none of us are the math people that we established.
Oh wait,
that.
yeah, no crap.
Well,
Dang.
unfortunate.
No, we
Just
all
wait
are.
till-
It's just that was how Brent was going to become the for sure.
Dang. This is exactly what I was afraid of. All of us failing. My cacker half-theophobia is really
Yes.
really kicking in.
Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. I guess Daniel wins the use of the bombastic word. I think that's the first time we have a winner in a long time, or declared a winner.
Hey.
But be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow, because no one's doing that, and we got to keep telling you to do it, or else no one will ever do it. So this is our prayer that it may happen sometime. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
I was gonna say this is awkward because my final thoughts were good job everyone on listening to like we had a down spike, but we got another. We're back at nominal values for listeners.
We back.
So thank you
Yeah,
everyone for
it was
listening.
like the next
Of
day
course,
it bounced back.
yeah. Thank you everyone for listening and sharing, and of course we could always use more because we're only in the top 10% of podcasts. We want to be in the top -1%.
2.
And we won't sleep until we're, what Brent said. I was going to say 1%, but
I want to be in the top 2 podcasts, and I don't want to be 1.
That's too much attention.
It's too much pressure to be number 1 podcast.
Exactly. I'd agree. But I mean, if we must be the top podcast,
I mean, like if we really had to be, I mean, we couldn't really stop that from happening. It would be our burden to bear. It would. Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's the people's choice,
imagine the
right?
horror.
Like, who are we to say that we are not? The
Okay, let's stop
greatest podcast
fantasizing
ever
in
to-
front
Are,
of your
are, are,
fans.
are People's Choice Awards still a thing, or like Teen Choice Awards? Does that still exist?
Yeah, Nickelodeon. We're gonna get our podcast chosen as we're gonna get slimed on stage. You guys
Dude,
remember that? Never actually
If
watched.
Nickelodeon ever sponsored us, we would definitely do a slime segment. That'd be so.
I don't even
Segment
know
slime.
if Nickelodeon makes new shows anymore, or if they just like rerun their old stuff.
Well, exactly. They're not even making a new show. They would just sponsor it. Like how in the Super Bowl and like they like Nickelodeon broadcasted one of the airings of the Super Bowl and then they had graphics that put slime everywhere. Pretty epic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Oh, right. Final thoughts. Those were Brent's. Shout out to all our moms again. Especially Brent's mom, and
Double
especially
mom
Lindsay's
shout
mom,
out.
especially my mom. Other moms as well.
The other of our moms shall not be receiving an extra shout out.
Sorry, other moms. Maybe next time. I swear I had something. Yeah, forget
I think
it.
this is the longest
I'll
final
Lindsay,
thought.
take it away.
I'll just
Yeah, this
Lindsay
is the
out of
longest
this
final
one.
thoughts we've ever had. Well,
That can't be true.
with that, everyone do have a bombastic week. We'll see you next time.